وهؤلاء نأتي بكتب السلف، نأتي بالقرآن، نأتي بالسنة، نأتي بكتب البخاري ومسلم وأبو داود والترمذي والنسائي وما ألفه أحمد وما ألفه غيره، نأتي بها. ومن هو على طريق هؤلاء ومن ينابذهم ويخالفهم؟
Those individuals, Ikhwan, as we mentioned, like this individual Anwar al-Awlaki. We mentioned this person, Ikhwan, because there has occurred much questioning around the affair of this man, and many of our good brothers, many an individual has been taken in by the call of this man. And anyone who analyzes brothers and sisters, that which is related to this person, then you will find that his origin and that which he is upon from methodology is nothing but the methodology, first and foremost, of Ikhwan, the methodology, secondly, of Jama'atul Jihad wa Takfir, the methodology, thirdly, of the Khawarij. For indeed, the man, Ikhwan, advocates unity with any Muslim, as long as he is within the fold of Islam, and that is what we should be striving towards, without any mention, Ikhwan, of the importance of at-tasfiyah wa tarbiyah, nurturing and teaching and educating and purifying our beliefs, so that we unite upon the rope of Allah Azza wa Jal, as Allah has commanded, وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا, and cling to the rope of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala together, and do not be divided. What is the rope of Allah Azza wa Jal other than the book, the sunnah, and the way of the companions of this ummah? Well, this man indicates and advocates that we should unite just on the basis of Islam. As long as you're a Muslim, then we should unite upon that basis. He likewise, Ikhwan, encourages and entices individuals constantly to go away to fight, to go away to make jihad, to go away and participate in battles, participate in the combats and the conflicts that are taking place across the globe that involve Muslims. And that we should race to get involved in that. We should race to help our brothers and our sisters out in those countries. And he advocates participating physically. And we have a number of individuals, Ikhwan, who have been avid listeners and followers of Anwar al-Awlaki, and have participated and have been harmed greatly because of that. From them, we have those individuals who were arrested and imprisoned, those individuals who were known as the Toronto 18, who were known to be avid listeners of Anwar al-Awlaki, who were arrested on the basis of them plotting a terrorist mission. We have the likes of the Minnesota 6, those 6 Somali youth, who after listening to one of the lectures and listening to and hearing of the praise that Anwar al-Awlaki gave to that group in Somalia, al-Shabaab, that group who is nothing other, Ikhwan, than a group from among the Khawarij, who amputated the limbs of an individual, who stoned a woman to death, and who basically carrying out the hudud in their own hands. After praising them and hearing of their praise from Anwar al-Awlaki, then we found that individuals, Ikhwan, in Minnesota heard of this praise and were impressed to the extent that they decided that they're going to buy tickets and they're going to join al-Shabaab and the group al-Shabaab in Somalia, which led, Ikhwan, to them being maimed and some of them shot at and them being injured. Or like the individual, Ikhwan, who relatively recently entered, or that Muslim American soldier who entered upon those non-Muslim soldiers and killed a number of them and then turned the gun on himself and killed himself. That it was well known that that person was an avid listener of Anwar al-Awlaki. This individual, Ikhwan, who resembles Faisal Abdullah, the notorious or the infamous Jamaican caller to fitna and caller to jihad and takfiri, resembles him in his call, but differs from him slightly in his style and in his method of delivery. For indeed, his approach resembles Faisal Abdullah, in that Faisal Abdullah, when he first came to England and began to teach, he started by teaching and giving lectures around the seerah, lectures around the hereafter, lectures around the signs of the Day of Judgment, that which is related مثلا to Jannah and Nar, those topics that every single Muslim is going to be attracted to, that which is related to history, and that which is related to stories of the past and so on, stories of the prophets. And then once the hearts of the Muslims are attached, then he begins to sow the seeds of fitna. He was arrested in Yemen on terrorist charges and was subsequently released. And he, from the clearest of his lectures, that indicate that the man is upon the path and the method of the Khawarij and the path of the people or the Jama'atu al-Jihad or Takfir, is the explanation that he has of the book of an individual known as Yusuf al-Uyayri. Yusuf al-Uyayri was an individual that was killed, Ikhwan, by the Saudi security forces in 2003. He was one of those individuals that was involved in a shootout between Saudi police and the security forces and was subsequently killed on the basis of that. He was from those individuals who went away and attribute himself publicly to Al-Qaeda. And they refer to himself and a number of other individuals in Saudi Arabia, they refer to themselves as Al-Qaeda fil Jazeera al-Arab. They refer to themselves as Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, and a number of them have been killed, and a number of them, Ikhwan, have been arrested and so on. He wrote a book called Al-Thawabit, or the Constants in the Path of Jihad. Those things that remain constant as it relates to the issue of jihad. And that book, Anwar al-Awlaki, explains in 6 sessions. And the book, Ikhwan, and his explanation is filled with jahl, filled with ignorance, filled, Ikhwan, with dalalat, filled with misguidance, and filled with nothing but a call to the path of the Khawarij of our time. He mentions in it, for example, that we have been commanded to terrorize kuffar. He mentions in it, for example, that indeed, whenever you come across the term terrorist, then you should replace it with the term mujahid. Whenever you come across the term terrorism, that you should replace it with the term jihad. And he is one who no doubt belittles, Ikhwan, our ulama, which is ordinarily the case with people of his nature and of his persuasion, that it is a must that they belittle the ulama so that their statements are listened to and their statements are the one that the shabab and the youth return back to. And so he mentioned stories of the past related to ulama who fled from the battlefield, ulama who were the ulama of the salatin and ulama of the scholars for dollars, if you like, or scholars who were paid by the rulers. And then he relates those ulama to ulama of today. And then he goes on to mention that there are ulama who are upon the correct manhaj and who are upon that which is right. Those ulama, though, are probably locked up, they're probably in jail, they're probably underground, or they're probably being killed. And who, ikhwan billahi alaykum, who from among our scholars is locked up underground, killed, or out of sight? Our ulama, bihamdillah, are zahirin, manifest. And anyone from the public is able to access them, anyone is able to see them, and their da'wah is clear. That is in accordance with the statement of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, لا تزال طائفة من أمتي ظاهرين على الحق لا يضرهم من خذلهم ولا من خالفهم حتى يأتي أمر الله وهم على ذلك. And so he mentions that the ulama in our time, that from them are munafiqun, and from them are individuals who are misguided. And if you follow them, then you will not receive guidance. He likewise mentions that us living in the West, that our state here in the West is resemblant to the state of those who used to live in Mecca. And then he goes on to explain the fact that unfortunately our scholars didn't really discuss the Meccan period because they didn't really live that reality. It wasn't an issue that they had to enter into discussing, and they didn't really live that reality. So it is upon us to extrapolate from the Meccan period and to extrapolate our own understanding of that era. Ikhwan, wallahi, the tapes and the lectures of the man are filled, ikhwan, with dalalat, filled with misguidance, filled with the manahij and the methodology of the Khawarij, and unfortunately, ikhwan, why many of our brothers are taken in by him. It's unfortunate that our brothers are taken in by him. One of the reasons for that, no doubt, is because of the eloquence of the man, his approach, his delivery, that he's calm, collected, and that his delivery, ikhwan, oftentimes resembles the delivery of the Salafiyun. He quotes Ibn Kathir, Shaykh Islam Ibn Taymiyyah, Ibn Rajab, Fulan, Allan, from our ulama. And so, oftentimes, our shabab are beguiled and misunderstand and confuse him with callers to Salafiyah.